Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in right here to Fantasy Life. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you for the next couple of hours, breaking down everything you need to know, Adam, for week one in the NFL. That is right. We have made it, folks. I know some of you are still drafting, so of course we're still going to talk a little bit of draft strategies, guys, that we're still looking at in drafts. I'm sure, Adam, you're not done. Are you done? Are you going to do one more? You going to do a Saturday again like you did last year? How you doing? How's it going?
I'm good. Yeah, there could be one more. It's not scheduled at the moment, but we'll
Okay.
see.
All
How about
right. A
you?
little sadder. I can't, but probably. But I probably will. I'm not usually one though to do one the weekend after a Thursday night game though. So I need to figure it out tonight if I'm going to do one tonight or tomorrow.
Why? You don't after the two
I just don't
games?
I just haven't done
It
I
gets
just haven't done
wild.
it.
Like I
Yeah.
told you,
Last
Isaiah
season,
likely went like in
yes.
round 4.
That's where if you remember, where did Andrews fall pretty far?
I don't remember. He probably did. I mean, anyone
Probably.
who does well shoots up, and sometimes it's usually wrong. You overdraft these guys just to get that one game.
Mhm. You're definitely doing one more. I can already
I
tell.
don't know.
I
We'll
can
see.
tell. But we've made it, Adam. Look at us. We're talking with Dwayne McFarland today, going through our rankings live at fantasylife.com, week one rankings. And then we're talking with Paul Charchian. We got the first week of Guillotine leagues. You just don't want to be the first person chopped because that's kind of embarrassing. And then we're going through waiver wires. Everything that you need to know for week one is live at fantasylife.com. Feels like it came along quickly, Adam, but now, now we're in the grind. We've got all our teams and now it's time to go win. It's fun.
Yeah, we spent months
Oh.
drafting day after day, getting excited for the start, and then here we go. I mean, week one's always weird just because you're drafting and then you have to have a quick turnaround, and we got the Thursday night game, Friday night game now. So yeah, week one is tricky, like because the prep is not the same.
Mhm.
Once next week begins, you kind of have a routine, and
Yeah.
it's thrown off this week because people are still drafting.
I'm very locked in. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm locked
Yeah.
in and ready to go. We had a draft last night that we'll just quickly touch on here. Going through the FFWC, I drafted with our Fantasy Life producer Matt Swing, and we got what were we the eighth spot? Eighth spot? Yeah,
Yeah.
you were three. Took
Yeah, I
more.
keep getting
You
3.
once I saw that, I texted Swing and I said, I bet you Adam Ronis here takes CeeDee Lamb. I don't think I've been in a draft with you where you haven't taken CeeDee Lamb, to be honest.
That's
Did you
not
take him in
true.
CBS?
Yeah, in GST, I took CD Lamb. I don't
Yeah.
have as much as you think, though,
Oh,
because
well, when I'm with you,
I
you
think
get three a lot.
yeah, I've been getting 3 a lot. I think I had I had 3 in the Flex League. I had
Hmm.
3 in another FFWC. I think in that one I took Gibbs, though.
Okay.
So that's
Just
why.
to
So
change it
I
up.
don't have as much Lamb as you think, and Bijan Robinson actually fell. I could have taken him at 3, and I was like, you know what? I already have him somewhere else, and so I was like, I'm gonna just take Lamb. This is a receiver heavy. Like we talk about a
Yeah.
lot of leagues like Underdog, even the NFFC. Like this, you start 3 receivers and 2 flex spots, and I've played in this format for years. You have got to be strong at receivers, so I tend to go that way. This year, though, I am intent on getting running backs a little earlier. That's why I took one in round 2. I was hoping to get a second one before round 6. It just didn't work out. Sometimes when I got there in round 6, I didn't love any of the running backs. Uh, Pollard didn't really fall. He went 5'10". That was on the other side of me. So just had to make do with it. But you do see, like, in this format, someone started 3 straight running backs. I don't see how you
That's
could
gonna
do
be
that.
tough.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
look at the receivers. Sutton, okay, cool. Pearsall, Flowers, who again I think is a real talented player. I think he's overvalued in fantasy. Lamar Jackson had 41 touchdown passes last year. Zay Flowers had 4. So how is he going to have a breakout again? Unless he has these long touchdowns. Then his fourth receiver is Jordan Addison, who's missing 3 games,
Hmm.
and Luther Burden, who probably not going to have a big role early on in the season. That's a tough receiver group.
Yeah, that's why you always got to know the format. And that's what I was saying to Swing, and we kind of agreed. I said, hey, we can anchor our team. Got Chase Brown finally.
I knew you
I
were
mean,
taking him. I knew
I
it.
said, listen, I need one. I told him, I said, I need one of Bucky Irving or Chase Brown. Whoever you're higher on, I like both. I haven't gotten enough of them. So yeah, at the 2-5, we just took him there because I didn't want to wait. And then we got Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Jalen Waddle. Kind of interesting. I haven't taken much of any Terry McLaurin, so I was okay with that there. You took Tet, Egbuka, Worthy, Roma Dunze. I love your receiver room. And then CeeDee Lamb. That's a good room.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning heavy into rookies this year, it
Hey,
seems.
what could possibly go
Nothing.
wrong?
Rookies are
Nothing could.
always great right away.
All of them will obviously work out, and we're going to be fine. But yeah, I feel like our bags are heavy with some of the receivers going in 2025. But that was a fun draft. Ended up with we got Loveland as our tight end. You got Tyler Warren.
Yeah,
And then we
because
came.
I don't have as much Tyler Warren
Oh,
as I
really?
thought. Yeah,
Oh,
I just keep kind of missing out. So I said, at first I was like, all right, maybe round 7. Then I saw the way the tight ends were going. I'm like, okay, I think I can push it. And I said, if he makes it to me at 8, I am definitely taking him. I didn't know what the two teams on the end would do, and neither had a tight end. So I said, I'm not going to risk it. And I almost took Joe Burrow. He went at
mm,
7-2
yeah.
because, again, quarterbacks really get pushed down in this format. I thought about it in the 6th, and I looked, team 1 had a quarterback. So I said, all right, I just got to worry about team 2. He did have T. Higgins, so I was like, he might take him, and he did. So maybe I could have went on at 6-10 and then come back, but I decided not to do it and said, if Burrow does make it to the 7-3, I will absolutely take him. It didn't happen. And then, of course, Dak Prescott didn't make it back in the next round to take with CeeDee Lamb. But maybe that was a good thing because I have a ton of Dak Prescott already.
Probably a good thing for you to not get him again. I think the only part, and the thing that happens sometimes when you co-manage, the only thing that we were going really back and forth on was Kamara. He was taken at 5'9".
Hmm.
I didn't want him. I said there, no, we need more receivers because we had already taken Chase Brown. And so I said I would really like one more receiver here because it's 3 receivers, 2 flex. And so that was the only thing that we really went back and forth on, passed on him, and he went right after us.
So that means if Kamara has a big year,
I know it's
Swing
on
will
me.
not let you
Oh,
hear the
for
end of it.
sure. It's
But
on me.
that's the thing with a partnership. Like, one person is going to get things wrong at times, and you cannot let it hang over their head. If not, then the partnership won't work. Because I've
Exactly.
done partnerships with different sports, and that's the one thing. And you kind of have to keep it to yourself. Like, damn it, man! I told him he was wrong. What is he thinking? But you can't say it to them. But you got to understand, both of you guys are going to get things wrong. You just
Yeah.
have to decide how you agree on things. And yeah, if you hold a vendetta against them, then it's
No,
not going to
don't do
work long
that.
term.
Yeah,
You
don't.
won't
Would
do
you
it. Swing will do it to you. He'll probably
probably he'll be
message me
texting
like,
you off
"Oh,
to the
Kendall,
side
I
like, "Can
told
you
her, man,
believe
she
this?
didn't
Look
listen.
at
If she would have
Kamara
listened to
career
me, we'd
year."
be winning."
Would you have taken Kamara there? Straight
No,
up.
I
Yeah,
haven't taken
thank
him
you.
anywhere.
Someone clip this, send it to our producer Swing,
If
and that
if
means
you
I was
really
right.
wanted to go a running back there, for me, it would have been Pollard or Harvey.
Yeah. Yes.
But I
But
think, yeah,
alas.
I was nah, I knew he wouldn't make it back, but yeah, I like Waddle this year. I don't have a lot. I think I have him more in best ball. So
I've started to get a lot of Waddle towards these last few weeks, and the vibes. You want to talk about the vibes? Vibes are bad. We're going through some of the news here that has happened over the last couple of hours going into week 1 of the NFL season. Again, at K Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. If you guys have questions, we know that you do. If you've got week 1 questions, draft questions, we are here to help. So send them that way. We'll get the phone lines open as well. Tyreek Hill, not among Dolphins captains this year. Talk about bad vibes, Adam. I don't know if we're funny, right? We try to be funny on this show. We talk about birthdays and we talk about, the birthday narratives and everything. But the captain thing feels like a story that we should be talking about because for the first time since joining the team in 2022, Tyreek Hill was not voted to be a captain by his teammates. And again, captains voted by teammates. He was one this offseason that he had to apologize because of his actions at the end of the 2024 regular season, where he basically took himself out of the final game and then hinted that he wanted to be anywhere else. We've heard Tua Tagovailoa talk about this as well. So Tyreek Hill apologized, but obviously wasn't good enough to the teammates. Not a captain this year.
yeah, it's been a wild offseason for him. And I mean, Tua talked in July that Hill had to rebuild trust with his
Hmm.
teammates. So, yeah, there's definitely some concerns there. Now, he is trying to get another contract. He obviously needs a lot of money with everything that's going off the field with him. I think he's going through a divorce now, right? I
Oh,
believe
I
too.
don't know.
Yeah,
Look at
I
you
think
knowing
so.
your pop culture. I usually
I
am not
expect you
keeping up with that.
to be
Yeah, I'm
on
so
top of that
sorry. That's gonna
stuff.
be you. It's Adam Ronis. Adam Ronis pop culture. Okay, so that's not good either. Personal life's not good.
So again, we've talked about some of these players that we don't have that we're scared of fading. I think Tyreek is one of them because I have not been drafting him, but I also see the other side where what if he is, intent on again getting that big contract? We know he can still run. The speed is still there. He's 31 years old. He's coming off his worst year, whether it was due to the wrist, whatever it was. I mean, part of it was teams taking away the deep pass and Tua
Hmm.
trying to get rid of the ball quickly and just focusing on Devon Achane and Jonnu Smith, who's gone. But I haven't been taking him, and he goes third round. You might see him fall to the fourth and some. He went 3-5 in our draft last night. I passed on him. So yeah, I feel like the vibes are bad with him, but he could burn us in a major way because it was just
Yeah.
2 years ago he almost had 2,000 yards. But all these things that you're hearing, it doesn't feel right. Now we could look foolish in week one, right? He can go out there and have 180 yards and 2 touchdowns, and we're like, oh boy, we made a mistake. Those teams with Tyreek Hill in the third, fourth round, oh my goodness. It still would be 1 week, but it's possible. I mean, he had 1,799 yards and 13 touchdowns 2 years ago,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, we're not that far removed.
he had that was a bad year last year. He was drafted third overall in most
Hmm.
leagues, if I remember correctly. Third, fourth, fifth.
Oh yeah.
81 catches, 959 at 6 touchdowns. I mean, we always say with our first round pick, we just want a real high floor. I mean, yes, you would love the guy you take in round one to finish as a number one overall pick, but you just really want a really high floor where they don't burn you. They stay healthy and just give you production. And it was bad for Tyreek Hill last year. And you just went through each week. Can I start him? Can I start him? And you always lean to yes because you're like, okay, well, this is the week he's going to have 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. And it just really didn't happen.
I took him in a couple weeks ago in Las Vegas in the
Third
FFWC
round, yeah, late
third
third round,
round.
if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
right?
later. I no,
Yeah, I think
I
it was.
think I
Didn't you
was
have like
I thought I was 4. And I think I was 4 in that draft.
really? I thought you had like
Yeah.
9 or 10 in that one. Okay.
No, I think that was the other one. That was the women's series because I did 2 that
Oh, so
weekend.
you basically took him kind of where
I
I
took
was
him
last
kind
night.
of at yeah,
I couldn't do it.
I
I
took him at
couldn't do it.
cost. I didn't love it. And it was one of those drafts where I said, well, I really want to get a receiver here. And I don't think we should expect him to return to that 21.9 points per game. But there is the outlier here, Adam, where we do say, hey, Tyreek Hill, we have him projected right now at fantasylife.com 133 targets. 133 targets, 93 receptions, and that brings him out to 1,245 yards. Tua has to stay healthy. There's other things
That,
besides Tyreek Hill, right? There's
that's the
other
other part.
things. There's other
Yeah,
things.
the
So it's
Tua.
not just bad vibes around Tyreek Hill. It's him as a whole, and then it's Tua Tagovailoa staying healthy. Because if that doesn't happen again, it feels like the wheels will fall off. The trade deadline this season. Yes, I did look that up because we do need to know it. November 5th. Not to say that that could potentially happen. No, wait, that was last year's. I know that for a fact. November 4th. Excuse me, 4 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, the vibes are weird. Tua Tagovailoa has to stay healthy though, no matter what.
Yeah, we've seen it. I went through the splits yesterday with Devon Achane. He had 22.6 points per game in PPR formats with Tua. So
Yep.
yeah, he is the key for a lot of those players having success because we've seen it fall apart.
If Achane fell to you in that draft last night, because he went two
Oh
eight
yeah,
and you
yeah.
were at
Oh
210, you
yeah,
would
I
have
was gonna
taken
take
him.
him. Yeah, I was
Same with
hoping. I was kind of hoping he would.
really?
Yeah, I wanted to take him at the late second round.
Yeah, it's true.
He was practicing off to the side yesterday, so I know they're saying that he could play week one. I'm still not 100% convinced yet. It looks like it, but yeah, I would have taken him at 210, no question about it.
Naji Harris cleared for contact after the eye injury. Please don't make any jokes because you've already done this to me earlier before the show started. And I don't know why for the jokes with Naji Harris, they always go over my head. But it looks like, Naji Harris, we know this, missed all of training camp because of the eye injury. He got during the 4th of July fireworks, what do you want, mishap, if you want to call it that. But he had a quote coming out that said, I think it's probably my 5th day of practice, just trying to get back in that football shape. I am feeling good, though. We'll see where it leads. So Jim Harbaugh said that he was cleared to participate full contact practice for the first time since they signed him in March. And they said that the outlook that he can still potentially play week 1, Adam. Would you be shocked if he played week 1?
I guess not shocked, but it's really hard to see him having a big role this week.
Is that a joke? Stop.
Nah, yeah, I just
what is the split though? I mean, realistically,
this week, how can he play a big role?
How about moving forward though? I mean, this timeline, we didn't have any answers, right? During the season, there were so many questions that we had, and it felt like they were keeping Naji Harris in the injury. We didn't get many updates, right? So the split, I think the big question is the split. If you've drafted Omarion Hampton, you're probably starting Omarion Hampton this week because he's going to be one of your better running backs on your roster. But it's not great for Omarion Hampton managers when we're hearing, well, Naji Harris could be good week 1, and that means, if he's could be good week 1 starts, maybe he's not going to, blow the roof off of anything, but, he's still more involved than we expected.
Yeah, I think if you have Hampton, this is not the best news, although you're still starting him. And what you have to hope is that Hampton goes out there when he gets his opportunity, he looks better than Harris, and they don't make the split 50-50. And it's more, pretty much almost every running back is dealing with another running back, right? There's very few bell cow backs, and they usually go in the first round. But after that, no one's on the field for like 90% of the snaps at running back anymore. So you just hope that it's a 70-30, 65-35 in favor of Hampton.
I agree. Again, you can go check out all of our rankings at fantasylife.com. I've already seen some questions over there on X. So check those out, fantasylife.com. Use that promo code SXM20 if you haven't already. SXM20 gets you 20% off any tier 1 or tier 2 Fantasy Life Plus subscription. So our rankings are updated for the week. If you're still drafting, our season rankings are also there. So make sure you go and check them out. We've got lots of questions to ask the one and only Dwayne McFarland. I want to ask him about Omarion Hampton, a little bit of Travis Hunter, what our expectations could be if Jauan Jennings is out there for week 1. We're going to do that and more coming up next. It just means a little more this week, Dwayne, that you are crunching the numbers, doing drafts all weekend. We are so excited to have you back here with us again at Dwayne McFarland over there on X. How you doing? Welcome in.
I'm doing great. Yes, off of a weekend of drafting like crazy over at Real Time Sports and the Fantasy Life Championship. Kendall, there's still some left. $300 team. Just saying, you guys, if you want to check it out.
Don't tell Adam that. Adam's ready to go.
Yeah, I've played in that format before. It's fun. It's a little different. That's the thing. You got to know the way to attack.
They draft
these different
running backs crazy.
Yeah, it's 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 2 flex.
Yeah, PPR. But yeah,
and you did 10 of them.
It was a blast, Kendall. So.
Nice. And now we're back. Week 1 is right in front of us. I'm curious though, because we will be getting down to, the nitty gritty of the rankings that we have going into week 1. Your utilization report is also going to be back here soon. But I do want to know your just most drafted players this offseason, who you have, heavy shares of, your expectations for them. I know that's a lot of players, but you can pick your favorites there.
Yeah, TreVeyon Henderson, I have him on 27% of 170 teams. So nice. I have a very heavy bet on TreVeyon Henderson. Either my wife and kids are all going to leave me, or, we're going to be super excited about all the online strangers that I get to brag to about drafting TreVeyon Henderson. With TreVeyon, he just has so many different outs. Like, that's the way I like to put it. Like, he works in the receiving game. He's an explosive playmaker. Like, he is big enough to run between the tackles. They've invested the early 2nd round draft pick in him. The Patriots, they're looking for a spark, and they don't have one. It's TreVeyon Henderson. Like, it's TreVeyon Henderson or bust, in my opinion. Like, Stephon Diggs is there to help move the chains, and that'll be nice. Maybe Kyle Williams, their other rookie, comes on. So I have a really big bet on TreVeyon. Another name that you get later in drafts that I've got a pretty big bet on at running back is Dylan Sampson.
Oh, nice.
He's a player that would have probably been like a 3rd round pick, Kendall, had it not been like such a deep, running back class. And he's one of these guys. He did come from a scheme where he got a lot of long, easy runs, but you have to go watch the runs where he had to work for it. And I mean, I don't think anybody besides Genty does a better job of like layering moves together. Like this guy like makes the first guy miss, and immediately the next guy has a little bit, kind of reminded me of Bucky Irving. He's faster than Bucky Irving, not quite as quick or probably as strong as Bucky Irving, but like I've got him on 30% of my teams. And just this whole thing with Quinshon Judkins, like they're trying to work it out, but like they're not wanting to probably slot him where the rookies go. Quinshon doesn't really have any leverage like after what he did. And also I heard that there is a clause in these rookie contracts that if you get suspended, it wipes out your guarantees. So I'm sure his lawyer's trying to get that out of the rookie deal. Well, I'm sure that the NFL teams don't want to do that because that sets precedent, you know, to where now you've done this for one rookie and not for another. So my thing with Quinshon is, even though I'm reading some of these stories I'm reading, Phil, I don't want to say clickbaity, but it's like, oh, he could be back this week. And I'm like, there is a lot to work through for this man to be back this week. I feel like.
Exactly.
And even if he is back this week,
he hasn't practiced.
It doesn't mean he's going to play. So
and Sampson's been here.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sampson could run away with the job in the first 4 games.
Do you think
even if Quinshon's then back in week 6? And then once he's back, if he does get suspended, like let's say they negotiate for 4 weeks and then he gets suspended for 4, like, I don't know.
There is suspension talks too. Jerome Ford non-factor for you?
No, I like Jerome Ford. Okay. I'm betting on the more explosive player. TreVeyon Henderson, you hear me talk about the explosive player. When I look at Dylan Sampson and what he can bring to the Taylor and Jerome, what he can bring to the table. Jerome Ford is a really nice player. Like, so it could totally end up week 1. We're looking at the utilization next week, and you're going to, Kendall be like, no, Dwayne, how you feeling about old Dylan Sampson? Played 30% of the snaps, 70% went to Jerome Ford. You know, like that's totally in the range of outcomes, but I accept it. So yeah, that's where we are.
What are we doing with Travis Hunter right now? There was a quote from Liam Cohen where they're working through it right now because he's missed some time with this upper body injury. So he basically said, we're not sure what the usage looks like right now. So people see that, they start to panic. What do you do with Travis Hunter this week?
Well, I'm just monitoring the news like everyone else. In my baseline projections, you know, I've had Travis Hunter somewhere between 70 and 80%, you know, route participation. So on the field when the quarterback's dropping back to pass the football, I'm going to probably keep it in that range unless I hear something that like really deters me from that. Like, cause that's kind of the number they've been around all off season. So if he's hurt, like obviously like the thing you're more likely to do is like maybe you take down their targets per route run or something a little bit, right? But right now I'm not messing with it. I'm going to see how it looks for Hunter. He's just another player that they need on the field. Like, I mean, I like Diami Brown, but this offense is going to be about, you know, Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. And I just think that they're the 2 best players on the team. Like, you just need to be getting the ball, you know, in their hands as much as you can. So it's one of these, you know how it goes, Adam. It's like early in the week, it's kind of fuzzy. We get a lot more clarity by Thursday, Friday. And I may have to pivot a little bit, but for right now, I'm kind of holding tight on Travis Hunter and was buying the dip this weekend.
Nice.
There were quite a few people, I guess, that were hearing that news, and Hunter was falling like a, you know, half round in some of these drafts, sometimes a full round. So yeah.
In your 10 drafts over the weekend. I love it. And we've got him consensus ranking for week 1 at 61 over there. So something to look at. Again, overall. Yes, fantasylife.com. Now, wide receiver 61. Tell all your league mates, tell all your teammates that. But again, we're talking with Dwayne McFarland here. Again, this is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbooks. New customers who bet just $5 can get $200 in bonus bets using his promo code FANTASYLIFE. That's promo code FANTASYLIFE. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Dwayne, what are we doing with Omarion, Hampton, Naji Harris? Like, are you believing this news that all offseason he wasn't practicing? We were excited when he was jogging off to the side, and now they're saying that there's a chance that he can play week 1. I mean, if he does, what do you think the split looks like realistically?
I think it's primarily Hampton. I think Hampton got to assert himself all through camp, got to get all of those reps that he would have been sharing with Naji Harris. He's a guy they invested in the first round. Najee's probably not 100% as far as conditioning and everything goes. So I think it'll be Hampton in the clear lead role in week 1. The question is, like, as Najee gets healthier, do they decide to kind of make it a little bit more of a platoon? I think Omarion Hampton's going to lead. I think Omarion and Hampton, but it could be the difference, like, Adam was talking about in the segment before, like no running back gets 90% anymore of the snaps. Like 80% is insane. Like last year, Joe Mixon was getting 80% of the snaps for a stretch, and his utilization score was really high. But whenever you look at these guys, like I think when Najee gets back in the fold and he's fully back in, it might be more like 55% of the carries to Hampton, and 30% to Najee, and then 15% spread across Herbert, receivers, third running back, that kind of thing, Hassan Haskins. So if Hampton really asserts himself, though, and is just like blowing up in the first couple of weeks, like he has a chance, in my opinion, to stay more like a 65% of the rushing attempt kind of guy. You can see Najee working in on some pass down stuff, though, right? He's a good blitz pickup guy. He can play in the 2-minute offense. So they could choose to, that could be how they choose to work Najee back in, which that ultimately really wouldn't be ideal. What you would hope for is just like Najee's rotating in like every third or fourth drive to spell Hampton. But if suddenly like he gets all the passing down work, well, then that creates like some fragility to Omarion and Hampton. Like if they get into trailing game scripts, like you could get, you guys know how it goes. Like Derrick Henry is a great example. I mean, and he's an extreme. But if you go just look at the games where the Ravens, which rarely happens, when they were losing last year, Derrick Henry didn't score fantasy points. Why? Because he's not on the field whenever it's time to catch the ball.
Did you draft Najee at all over the weekend? Have you taken a little bit?
I've taken a few shares.
Oh, yeah. See, Adam? Adam's like, no.
Well, yeah, he's done 100 drafts, so he's got 4 shares.
Yeah. Still counts as drafting him. It really does.
I got 2%, Kendall.
See, told you.
155.
I knew it wasn't high.
I knew it wasn't high.
Come on.
He still took him, Adam.
What did you do with Dak Prescott's projections after the departure of Micah Parsons?
Condolences, by the way.
Yeah, so I went, I worked through a top-down projection process, and so I bumped up the pass rate by another just like 1%, like their drop back rate versus their run rate. Like I didn't get like too crazy with it, but like I gave a little hat tip to it. I already had them as a pretty pass heavy team. They don't have really any running backs that you're dying to hand the ball off to. You added George Pickens. You signed Jake Ferguson to the deal you did. Obviously, the year before you signed CeeDee Lamb. Like, in my opinion, all signs point to this offense is going to funnel through Dak. It's going to funnel through the passing game. And now that we have Micah Parsons gone, we know the Cowboys defense is going to be that much worse. We also don't know that we're going to have TreVeyon Diggs. Sounds like we could be without him for the first 4 weeks as well. Again, so Cowboys are hurting. And then they won't sign Micah Parsons, and I know it was a huge deal, but then they signed Deron Bland, and then they signed, and they had signed Ferguson. I don't understand the Cowboys, Ronis.
I don't either.
Sure you could go off for 10 minutes here, but yeah, Dak's going to throw the ball a ton, and it's good for Pickens. It's good for CeeDee Lamb, lesser extent, but also good for Ferguson.
Are you going to one game this year, Dwayne?
No.
Okay.
They'll suck me in, Kendall.
I know. I was going to say mid-November.
They'll do something stupid like beat the Eagles on Thursday.
And then lose to the Giants.
Like, okay. Yep. Yes.
You guys are so funny. Last one here, Dwayne, before we let you go. Just want to know Jauan Jennings for you. Maybe not necessarily rankings. I know a lot of people have wrapped up their drafts, but he was back at practice a little bit yesterday. They need him in this receiver room, no? So if he is able to come back and gets back to 100% healthy, what do you think his ceiling is in this offense?
Yeah, I think it's really good. He was a player that I think a lot of people get hung up on the fact that he had the blow up game, early in the year. And so they think, okay, yeah, well, if you remove that one game, for Jauan Jennings, then he was really crappy. Like, I think another way to really look at that is to go in and say, okay, once Jauan Jennings really got into a full-time role because of the injuries of the other players, which was week 10, Kendall. So that gets rid of the 46.5 fantasy points he scored in week 3 when he went absolutely bananas. But once he had a full-time role, I mean, he scored 16, 25, 9, 9, 28, 5, 9, 14, 12. So, I mean, you're talking about a player that still was averaging almost 14.5 fantasy points per game, excluding the 46.5 fantasy point blow up from week 3, whenever seemingly there was just an absolute, target lock, between him and Brock Purdy. The dude had a 40% target share over that stretch. But the underlying data points, are also really good, Kendall. I mean, we're talking about a player that over that stretch I just gave you, he had a 28% target share.
Wow.
And I like Ricky Pearsall, but Ricky Pearsall's an unknown. Like, he wasn't really a great draft prospect, to be honest. He was fine, but like the rookie supermodel thought he was a second round pick, not a first round pick. 49ers know more than me and my dorky like model that I sit in the basement with.
Numbers.
Yeah. But when you look at what he did from his target earning perspective, you look at him in his air yards, all those things, Jauan Jennings like was really good. And remember, the 49ers offense just overall was just kind of beat up and depleted last year. It was just off kilter. So if like they've got their mojo back, right, and Jauan Jennings is part of it, like, yes, I think that he could easily be a wide receiver 3 this weekend with wide receiver 2 upside.
Oh, Dwayne, it is so good to be back talking with you about week 1. Again, he's going to be back next week. But again, this was brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers who bet just $5 can get $200 in bonus bets using Dwayne's promo code Fantasy Life. That's promo code Fantasy Life only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Dwayne, we appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
No, I appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest
code.
of your week. Looking forward to the weekend of football. Ronis,
yes,
you and I will probably cry together along with Mr. Ian Hart. It's on Thursday.
A lot of crying this year.
It'll be perfect. It'll be perfect. We appreciate it, Dwayne. See you next week.
All right, see ya.
All right, there he goes. We're going through waiver wire names to know. Important waiver wire week coming up here. We're going to give you those names coming up next. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. That's right, football fans. Watch your local NFL games live every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. This year's schedule is absolutely stacked with the rivalries and revenge games, including the next chapter of the epic Bills-Chiefs saga. So stay connected to it all on any device at home or on the go. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today and count on Sundays for another must-see season of the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. We are right here with you, Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you on this Tuesday, just days away from kickoff of the NFL season. We're breaking down waiver wire names to know. That article is live at fantasylife.com, so make sure you go and check it out. The Baltimore Ravens are price conscious. I bet they drink Folgers. Adam, you saw the news. Revamped flock-friendly say that 5 times.
Yeah, better be careful.
Value meal.
Up.
Whoa. I did it right the first time, though. $4.99 barbecue chicken sandwich, $4.49 nachos, $1.99 for popcorn. It's good times. Maybe we should that be the stadium that we go to this year?
Yeah, or you could do Citi Field has $5 Tuesdays. That's the only time that Ani goes to the games for us.
Okay.
So,
why am I taking shots at all?
I'm not taking a shot. How's that taking a shot? I'm saying that's the time he goes. He'll fully admit Tuesdays, $5 Tuesdays is when he goes.
What,
but I think more
tickets? Nice.
What? No, not tickets, the concession. But I think more teams need to do this. Like, be honest, like if I'm at a game and it's that price, I'm going to buy more. You price it really expensive. I mean, I did pay like $23 for pastrami sandwich, but when you're really hungry sometimes.
Sounds good.
But I'm just saying though, like if you did this more often, I'd buy more food.
Yeah,
if it's affordable,
1,000%.
right?
No, 1,000%. I scrolled down, they've got feed a family of 4 for less than $10 a person. So you get 4 hot dogs, popcorns, pretzel bites, water, and a couple beers for $38. That's pretty good. Look at that.
You got to make it more affordable. I mean, everything is so expensive these days. People are paying enough for tickets, parking. So just to at least give them a break on the concession. And again, they'll buy more food. I mean, I know I would. If you're going to price it like that, I'll buy more.
I need to figure out what the crazy food thing at the stadiums are this season.
Oh, yeah,
I haven't talked about it. No, I believe they're bringing back the cotton candy burrito for the Arizona Cardinals.
So disgusting.
Whatever.
It does.
But I
It just
haven't
sounds
seen
brutal.
anything else.
Well, you have to start doing more research.
I know. I'm behind, folks. I'm so sorry. Week 1 just caught up to us, and I'm looking now, and there's nothing crazy yet that's going. Oh,
I'm sure there will be.
Wait, what is that?
Oh boy,
Hang
here
on.
we go.
No. Oh, a foot long corn dog rolled in blue Taki crumbs for the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
I'd actually eat that. That doesn't sound too bad. I have to find something outrageous. Well, I'm going to do that during the break. Anyway, what are we talking about? Waiver wire names to know. That's something that I will always be able to say here on this show and not get tangled up in. Waiver wire names to know. Again, this article is live at fantasylife.com. Guys to target before this week 1. I know waivers are running. I had a couple run yesterday, Adam. I had a couple during the show today that ran as well. So it's an important week. This week and next week are really big for your team. teams. I think, the biggest one for me and the guy that I've made sure to try and go get is Chris Rodriguez. I really like him for the Washington Commanders. Last time I checked, he was only 6% rostered. When I give you that percentage, though, that's from Yahoo. So obviously it just depends on the platform that you're on. If you're doing 20-round leagues, 20-round drafts, then yeah, he's definitely going to be gone. But I think him, Ollie Gordon, and if you want a piece of the Houston Texans backfield, I know you don't, but Dameon Pierce, Woody Marks are probably the top 3 running backs that I've been looking at.
Let's clarify that. I'm not looking to invest. If they fall to the right price, I will.
If they're on the
waiver,
waiver,
take Woody Marks last night.
But if they're on waivers, are you dropping someone for either of them?
It depends if I have a drop. I mean, I took Dameon Pierce. This was like a month ago in round 20. So I think that was the league actually. I either didn't draft a kicker or a defense. And this is the whole point of why I do that. Okay. This, I guess, obviously applies more to next year. But I say this every year. If you're drafting July, August, and you have a waiver run before the season, you really don't have to draft a kicker or a defense. Instead, what did I do? Dameon Pierce round 20. Now he goes a couple rounds higher, and he could be nothing. He could not even play that much. The whole point is, though, now instead of going to the waiver wire and spending any money, he's on my roster, and I could just keep him there and see what happens, and then I'll drop someone else to get a kicker or a defense. So even last night, there was a team in our league who didn't draft a kicker or a defense because there is a waiver wire before the year, and that makes sense too. I thought about doing it, but we're so close to the season, I was like, let me just get my defense and kicker now.
Yeah.
But it makes sense, though, especially, again, July, early August. That's what you do. And that's the same thing I've been saying in these leagues where people with 16 roster spots are taking a second quarterback. Take that running back instead. Because you don't know what's going to happen. They could wind up in a bigger role than you anticipated. And that second quarterback, people are always going to cut them. So, yeah, with Pierce, that's more a deeper format, like 16 roster spots, probably not. But it's open in that Texans backfield. Because, again, I'm not convinced on Nick Chubb. I'm just not.
No, you and I are on the same page there.
Yeah, and Mixon, there's a chance Mixon doesn't play. Like, every time someone drafts Joe Mixon in a league that I've been in this week, I'm like, thank you. Take a player off the board that I don't want. Like, he went around 12 of ours. Like, okay. Yeah, there was just so many other players in that round that went after that I'd rather have.
I agree, and we have no IR spots, so that's the other part of it in that format. I got some screenshots where if you have an IR spot, it's really, you're not taking a risk there, but it is.
It is, but I'd rather
you could get other players.
Yes, I'd rather take someone else on IR.
Yeah,
like I'd rather take Brandon Ayuk to put on IR. You know, even Jalen Coker. I know it could be 4 to 6 weeks is what they're saying now, but with Mixon, there's been talk that he might not play this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not talking about not good vibes. It is not good vibes over there, but a couple of those guys should be available on waivers. I wanna say Harold Fannin again. Again, it just depends on what kind of league you're in. If it's tight end premium, though, definitely keep an eye on him. I saw 0% rostered, maybe 1% depending on where you're looking. But again, we talked with Zach Jackson a couple weeks ago from The Athletic, and Harold Fannin, for what it's worth, with David Njoku going into a contract year, them releasing Deontay Johnson. Like, I think there's a lot of outs potentially for Fannin to have a bigger role this season. It all depends on what it looks like. But the preseason, when we saw the preseason numbers finished with David Njoku with 60% of the snaps, 60% route participation, 33% targets per route run, if that holds true during the season, Adam, that's definitely someone that we could be talking about. Again, it's early. It's an early waiver wire pickup. So if you get him now, he's not someone that I think can contribute right away, but just someone to keep an eye on.
He's definitely going to be talked about on the waiver wire at some point in the next few weeks because they've already said Cleveland is going to run a lot of 12 personnel, way more than they have. So you're going to see him on the field. Again, we heard it straight from Zach Jackson several weeks ago, and that's what you keep seeing now. So even in most leagues, he's not going to be drafted outside of tight end premium. So it's just we're telling you, hey, keep your eye on this guy because he could play a much bigger role. Like, there were some tight ends drafted yesterday where you could have made a case Fannin could have went over them. But yeah, you're not going to see him drafted in a lot of leagues. Your home leagues, he's not going to be drafted. He's a name to keep on the radar that you might have to be quick to react. Like if you see a good week 1, and he has a good matchup here against the Bengals. Although, look what David Njoku did against the Bengals last year. He absolutely destroyed them. So I think it was 24 targets in 2 games. So big Njoku week coming up.
Yeah, we'll see. And do you think the Bengals win this weekend? You think they lose?
I'm gonna say yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say yes.
Would you pick them in Survivor? No.
Survivor is absolutely difficult this week.
I know. There's a lot of really good games this week. We'll talk. We'll talk.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll talk. Yeah.
We'll talk because I do want to know some of your.
You're taking Philly, aren't you?
Yeah, I think I have. No offense. I think I have to. There's no way.
Divisional game? Come on.
I don't know. Well, we're going to keep going here because we'll talk more week 1 and some of these matchups, but I've got a few more waiver wire names to know. Deep sleepers that are not going to be on people's radar right now, but in a couple weeks, you will look like the smartest person in the room. We're going to give you those names coming up next. That's the first time I've heard that. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it is the first time I heard it too.
I like this. You can play whatever music. I'm not in charge of the music.
You're in control.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you do.
Not of the drops, not of the music. The drops that scare me.
I've heard that you say just
afterwards,
a little hip hop, like 2%. That's it.
2%.
Yeah.
And then more what?
You like to be in control of everything.
If you had to pick between Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, Chappell Roan music for a whole show, what would you pick?
Oh my goodness, I don't know.
No, all your favorites.
That's a tough call.
All your favorites. I just absolutely know it.
Maybe that can help me sleep. Start listening to their music.
Maybe. Why don't you try it out?
I will. You
won't. And also, if you do, you need to tell us that you listen to a Taylor Swift album to fall asleep.
Never. I've never done that.
We need to know that information. Waiver wire, names to know going into the first week of the season here. Mentioned a couple running backs, mentioned Harold Fannin. Couple later round receivers. I think Troy Franklin is a good one. Tory Horton as well. Guys that maybe are not going to start off hot. Guys that you have to be very careful of and patient. But 2% rostered for Tory Horton, 1% rostered for Troy Franklin. And maybe a little Olamide Zaccheaus here, Adam. Wrote him out as just, a guy to know, a guy to monitor, but he's been getting a little bit of talk over there for the Bears. I know that there's a ton of weapons out there already, so that's going to make it really difficult to look at Olamide Zaccheaus and say, wow, he's definitely a sleeper for 2025. But, you kind of want to follow the noise a little bit sometimes, and he's definitely been on it, at least with the depth chart. I know we don't look too much into that, but it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, we keep seeing it, that he's become a target for Caleb Williams. So, and he's doing things in practice. So who would have thought that? Because we're looking at this offense and we're like, okay, there's so many guys here that we like. And you do see a lot on Zaccheaus. So I haven't really thought about him at this point. I think he did go in our draft last night.
Oh,
again,
really?
It's 20 rounds. I thought he went. Maybe, am I wrong?
I can check. No,
okay, maybe not.
You're not usually wrong. Don't clip that.
Yeah, I don't see him now. I do see Chisholm from New England. That's like the first time I saw him drafted. I've heard,
I don't see him.
Okay, so he didn't go. So yeah, imagine that's like the waiver wire pickup of the week. Like he comes out and has a big game. I'd still like, because Luther Burden's a little behind. He's had the injuries. I know people have been drafting him, and we've said it so many times with these rookie receivers. A lot of them are not going to make a big impact early in the season. It's going to take some time, especially if they've missed practice. So there's still DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Colston Loveland. So, look, Zaccheaus could have a good first week, but I'm still not convinced that it's going to be a consistent thing.
Brashard Smith for the Kansas City Chiefs, a just-in-case option. We know who's ahead of him, especially with Isaiah Pacheco there, but he is only 2% rostered, so if anything were to happen to him, it's one of those things where he would step up. That's with a lot of these guys, though, at the bottom of this article, Adam. It's one of these guys where it's one of these things where you take these players off the waiver wire, and we always say it, you just have to be patient. So Emanuel Wilson for the Packers, since all of my Marshawn Lloyd shares went into the trash can from June and July. Not fun, but picking up Emanuel Wilson, especially if you have Josh Jacobs, just kind of the pure handcuff since Marshawn Lloyd is now going to be out for a little while. And then I still like Kyle Monangai. We're talking a lot of Bears here, but I really like Kyle Monangai. 5% rostered for the Bears. They're running back RB3, really, because you've got Roschon Johnson ahead of him. I don't think he would take over everything, but if Swift went down, he would get a good role.
Yeah, and maybe he plays a goal line role early on too.
Nice.
I've been drafting him as well, so I do like that. You're getting him late in drafts.
Absolutely. We're going to the water cooler. We're going through all the pieces of news that you might have missed, and we're heading out to the phone lines. We know you got questions. 888-963-2682. Call us, send us a tweet, a question over there. We're heading to the water cooler next. Oh, this is Fantasy Life right here. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us, getting you ready for week 1 of the NFL season and answering all your fantasy football questions. 888-963-2682 is the phone number to call in, or you can press that new call in button on the Sirius XM app. You can send us a message over there if you're in a meeting, if you're secretly listening to us at work. First of all, we appreciate it, but send us a message at Valenzuela17 at Adam Ronis over there on X. We'll try and get to as many as we can here. And as always, in the water cooler, we are going through pieces of news that we have gotten over the last couple of hours here from our last show, since our last show. But you can always stay up to date at fantasylife.com. So make sure you head over there. Use our promo code SXM20. SXM20 gets you 20% off any tier 1 or tier 2 subscription. And we've got the tools now. We've always said, Adam, we've got tools to help you draft. Now we've got tools to help you in season. You want to know what Dwayne is talking about in the utilization report. You're always going to be a step ahead. We've got the waiver wire tool, the start sit tool. So again, if you can't get through to us on the phone lines, if you've got questions, head over to fantasylife.com because you can put in any start sit question you have and it'll spit out who we believe based on our rankings and projections you should start for week 1. So head over there, SXM20, 20% off any tier 1 or tier 2 subscription. You ready to get into the news? I haven't seen any food stuff, by the way. I haven't found a weird food item at an NFL stadium yet. I have to dive deeper into my research here.
You have to do better. You have to find something.
I know there's nothing yet. I haven't seen it. So then we'll have to make our way to a stadium once we find that food. Maybe it'll just still be the cotton candy burrito. I think that's it.
That sounds so disgusting, but good luck. You can have it.
But if we went, you wouldn't try it?
I would try something, yeah. I would take a bite, but I'm not eating the whole thing.
Well, you don't have to.
You can have the rest.
Okay, I appreciate it. News. You ready? You ready to get into it? We mentioned this with Dwayne McFarland, first hour of the show, but kind of wanted to rehash this and talk about Jauan Jennings. He did practice for the first time in 36 days here, Adam. So for the first time, he was able to practice on Monday. So this was a bonus practice is what I was reading in the morning, because they're obviously beginning and getting ready and getting prepped for the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday. But I think Jennings returning is potentially maybe a sign that he, first of all, hopefully the calf injury is getting better and maybe the two sides are closer on a deal, or maybe they're just, they've decided that it's time for him to come back. I'm curious what this is going to end up as, because a couple months ago he wanted a new contract. He said, trade me if I don't get it. But for anyone that drafted early Jauan Jennings before all this went down, you're happy to at least see him out there.
Yes, I mean, it's a step in the right direction. We still don't know if he's going to play, what's his conditioning. So they obviously need him, right? With everything that's going on, Brandon Ayuk's going to miss at least 4 games. Demarcus Robinson suspended the first 3 games due to a DUI arrest last year. So, yeah, they definitely need him because they are thin. So, yeah, it's better than him not being out there, but still more steps to be taken before you say you feel confident about Jennings. Like if you drafted him yesterday, that was awful.
I drafted him yesterday.
Oh, you did?
What is wrong with you? Stop. It wasn't awful. I'm trying to, we say calculated risk. Get out of here. You know what? I'm leaving.
I thought about taking him if he made it back, but I probably still would have went Tyler Warren. So you took him 8-5.
Took him 8-5. Yeah, Kirk was gone. Michael Pittman Jr. was gone. I wanted Sharps there, but Charbonnet was gone. Downs. Yeah, no. I want Jennings.
Okay.
I did take Addison yesterday, actually, in another league. But he's a bench player. So I was kind of happy with it because, again, he's gone for 3 games, and then he's going to return. But yeah, Jauan Jennings, they need him. That's the one thing that we have to look at here. So I was hoping and thinking to myself that maybe this calf injury is, we don't want to say it's not real, but maybe it was more in line with the contract thing, Adam. We're still going to find out. He doesn't have a new contract like he wanted. He said, again, he wanted to be traded if he didn't get this new contract, but I'm still hopeful that we see him out there because like you said, they need him. We like Ricky Pearsall a lot, but if Jauan Jennings is able to get back out there, he will be immediately involved in their plans on offense.
Yeah, I mean, the next few days are going to really tell the story of what we can do with Jennings here. So, look, I think where he's being drafted is fine because in most scenarios, you're really not counting on him to be a starter. So we have seen the price drop on him, whereas Ricky Pearsall's price has risen over the last couple of weeks. So at least he is back on the field, but clearly he's not happy, though. So I think they said he would speak with the media at the end of the week.
Well, that's not good. Can't wait for that. Jauan, he's our consensus wide receiver. This is not overall. This is wide receiver 43 for the week, which feels about right. If he is able to play. Again, we still just don't even know if he's going to be out there, but time will tell and we'll find out. I have taken shares of him though. So I am kind of hopeful that he gets back out there sooner rather than later. Because that was the bet that I wanted to make this year. And if it doesn't work, we won't talk about it. We'll just let it go.
I'll bring it up.
No, I know. We always bring it up. Naji Harris. No jokes here, Adam, because I will probably not be paying attention enough and I will miss them, but he was cleared for contact after his eye injury. So this is one where I think we're going to get a good amount of questions like later on in the week. I could see people asking, should I be starting Naji Harris if I have him? The answer is you probably have better receivers out there, but it is an update that couple weeks ago I wasn't necessarily expecting because everything was just so in the dark throughout the whole training camp, throughout the whole preseason.
See what you did there.
No.
Good job.
There's so many eye jokes. I really didn't mean that.
Yeah, you did. So you're very mean. You're a mean-spirited person.
No.
Damn.
Wow, that was awful. I really did not mean that. There's so many jokes that you can make. Anyway,
well, it looks like Naji Harris not coming on the show now.
No,
we
stop.
try to get
big
him. His
fan,
agent just
big
texted
fan of the
me.
show. Stop. Don't do this. Anyway, he was. We were not given information in the off season. How's that? And training camp. Man, if he starts this week though, he's durable. That's the one thing we know about him.
He hasn't missed a game. That's why. Oh, okay. He's never missed a game, so that's why he wants to play.
They're going to suit him up?
He's going to get like 4 touches.
Okay.
Tinfoil
hat conspiracy on.
Yeah, the game is Friday too. This is the Brazil game, so I don't think you start him this week.
I think if you've been drafting Naji Harris with the off chance that he is able to play, then you have better running back options. That's the other thing.
Because you were getting him in double-digit rounds at this
point. In the range that you were taking him, and you guys can still, we'll take it. You can still call and ask because I know there's going to be a lot of start-sit questions for the week, but I just feel like you're going to have better running backs out there. And I really it wasn't a joke. We were kept in the dark all offseason about his injury. Get out of here.
Get out of here. I like it.
Matthew Stafford's going to start the season opener against the Texans. I think we kind of saw this one coming, but just in case you didn't, he's someone more so in super flex formats that we're looking at if you're really looking at starting him as well. Tyreek Hill was not a captain, still drafted him last night though. And then I did want to bring up just any which way you're looking at the Cowboys running backs. I know we've talked about CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. There's going to be good amounts of questions on Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue between the two of them. The Cowboys did list Javonte Williams as the team's week 1 starter. I don't think we're shocked about that. But, he could be a flex-worthy candidate here if you really need him in some of those deeper formats.
Yeah, if he does do anything this week, it's going to be because they're trailing and he catches 4, 5, 6 passes. So that's the way I see him getting there. I don't see him doing much on the ground. And even long term, I'm just not convinced he's the guy. I'd rather have Jaden Blue. Again, it might be you won't see much maybe this week or the second week, but I think eventually Blue brings more explosiveness out of the passing game. So I'd rather have him long term. But you could see a situation where Javonte gets you 10 to 12 points in a PPR this week just on receptions. I don't see him doing much on the ground against Philly, and we expect Dallas to be a pass-heavy team all year, and especially this week where they are 7.5-point underdogs on Thursday night against Philadelphia.
You gonna take him? Survivor? No, you're not.
Yeah, Cowboys and Survivor? Hell no. What do
How
you
about our
think?
Survivor Bowl? Or pick 'em?
No, I would never take them.
Well, we have to pick it. We have to pick each game.
Each game?
Yeah.
No, you
Are
don't.
we on the same thing? Yes, in that thing that we were invited to.
That wasn't at a Survivor. You don't have
It's
to
called
pick
the
every
Survivor
game.
Bowl.
Yeah, I don't think you had to pick every game. I gotta look at it again.
I'm okay. Well, I've got it in front of me right now, and I'm picking. No, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Dang it! I hate when I'm wrong.
Well, it happens.
It's the worst. It's the
But
worst.
yeah, I wonder how many people are going to take Philly in Survivor.
I get it.
Because Philly is one of the biggest favorites of the week. Actually, they are. Them and Denver are both 7.5. So Denver at home, I think they will be a popular play. I think Denver, if I'm not mistaken, they're 83, 34, and 2 at home in September. It's really tough to win in Denver in September. So I think they'll be popular. And I mean, you tend not to go with a divisional game, especially this early in the year. But I think people believe that like the Cowboys have no shot to win, especially after the whole Parsons situation over the last week. To have that sprung on the team right before the start of the season cannot be a good thing.
The Bengals are 1-11 in the first 2 weeks of a season under Zach Taylor.
Yeah.
And people might be looking. I'm staying away. Just to me, with the Bengals, the first few weeks going on the road against Cleveland. I don't know.
A lot
Stranger
of people
things have happened.
A lot of people are gonna shy away from that one after the Bengals eliminated most people in Week 1 last year, losing to New England. It's a divisional game on the road, and Burrow has struggled in Cleveland as well. So yeah, this is a tough week for Survivor. You have a lot of short spreads, a lot of spreads under 3.
Yeah, this is a good week. It's a good. I'm gonna pick them as well. So that's gonna be fun going through. That's where I go through every game, Adam. Not the Survivor Bowl, but yeah, there's some good games where you could see maybe some little upsets this weekend, which will be fun. So again, fantasylife.com. Always want to point you in that direction. We've got our week 1 rankings updated. I did that before the show this morning, so make sure you go and check those out. Let's go to the phone lines now. Let's answer some questions here. We are here for you. 888-963-2682, or press that new call-in button on the Sirius XM app. Let's start off with Jeff. What do you got for us, Jeff?
Hey guys, happy week 1. I am in a non-PPR standard league.
Sorry to hear that.
Take Stop. 2 of. I know, Ronis, I called in maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago with a little booze in my belly, and we bickered on the air about PPR and standard. And
we
I
did?
still chuckle about that.
Oh, okay.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a leather helmet league, but, it's my buddies from back home, so we love it. And that's how we roll.
It's all about having fun. You guys enjoy it, do it.
Right on, man. We still do the draft party with the stickers, and it brings everybody back into town.
Heck yeah.
And it's a good thing. So, yeah. So I've got Marvin Harrison, Calvin Ridley, Emeka Egbuka, and Jordan Mason, and I need to pick 2.
Pick 2 between Ridley, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jordan Mason, Emeka Egbuka. Emeka Egbuka is a for sure for me.
Yeah, and believe it or
not,
this is a tough week for Ridley. Don't be surprised if he has a slow start. He's probably going to see a lot of Patrick Surtain. So
Denver is tough.
Yeah,
are you going to say Marvin?
I can't. Yeah, I mean, look, it's the Saints, right? If there's any week that he has a big week, and look, Mason is still splitting with Aaron Jones. I do like Mason, and I have been drafting him. I am starting him in some leagues this weekend, but I think it's Harrison and Egbuka because Harrison has a better shot at a touchdown this week than Ridley. And again,
Ridley's
I love Ridley long term.
Matchup. Yeah, but he's got a really tough matchup this weekend. Cam Ward, we've talked about this. We like Ridley, we like Cam Ward, but it will not shock us if that starts slow. And that's what our bets are on Calvin Ridley. But Marvin Harrison Jr. going up against the Saints, we've got him projected 18.4 fantasy points with standard scoring system, and then for 18.5 fantasy points for Emeka Egbuka. So those are the 2 to go to. Again, we've got projections and everything on the Start Sit tool. We've got a great upgrade over there, so make sure you guys go and check that out. Presented by Xfinity, because it's a really, really good tool. I appreciate you calling in here, Jeff. Maybe you can call back in and bicker with Adam, like maybe a Sunday show kind of thing, because I would love to hear that. Let's go to Ronnie in Buffalo. Ronnie, what do you got for us? Hey, Ronnie, what do you got for us? potentially.
Hey guys,
Ronnie's shot.
There we go.
Thank
There we
you.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
We got
Sorry.
you.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I just got a quick question regarding my running back room. So I ended up taking Kenneth Walker and DeAndre Swift. So I'm looking for some sneaky ads on the waiver wire. Chris Rodriguez is there. I know you just talked a couple minutes ago about grabbing him. I'm wondering who I should drop. I have Roschon Johnson. I don't know if I'd want to keep him for a handcuff for DeAndre, but I have Brashard Smith. And my receiver room is stacked, and I have Amari Cooper on the bench. So I'm looking who to drop, Roschon, Brashard Smith, or Amari Cooper for Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah, I don't like Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
but
it'd be Amari
that's
Cooper
just
for me. I think he's done. I mean, a lot of the underlying metrics last year were pretty bad. So, yeah, I would drop Amari Cooper.
And a lot of the time when we talk about, dropping players and adding, a lot of people will sometimes give us their running backs, Adam. And we always, I personally like to keep more running backs on my bench than I do receivers, just because of what we've talked about. And if they don't work out, you cut them. There's obviously a few receivers that I have on my bench or guys that I look at for the waiver wire. We talked about Franklin from the Broncos and a couple others, but I just like the potential with some of these running backs. And so I don't like Amari Cooper. I have him nowhere. And if that burns me, then that's fine. But we don't, I'm not Amari Cooper.
I might actually have him in a best ball from like 2 months ago, where like in the last couple rounds. Yeah, like I just said, you know what? No, I'm sure people did it with Keenan Allen too. That one obviously worked out better.
You know who did it with Keenan Allen was who drafted him a lot? Elliot Christ, our CEO.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Has a huge exposure to Keenan Allen this year.
It makes sense because I thought he would be back with a team. He wanted to play. I think he said he only wanted to play, was it the Chargers or Bears, right? Isn't that what he said? Yeah.
It's a good, it seems like a good fit for him. I actually don't mind it. I haven't taken him in any redraft format recently. But I think I did take him in a couple times in best ball. Let's keep going on the phone lines though. Let's go to Kalen in California. Kalen, what do you got for us?
Hey guys, thanks so much for taking my call. First time, long time. So I'm in a half-point PPR Superflex league. Currently, and basically the way that it's structured is it's 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, a flex, and a superflex. Currently, I have Aaron Jones in my flex, but on my bench, I've got Sam Darnold, Naji Harris, Ibuka, and Jacoby Myers. So it's kind of a twofold question. One, do you think I should start Ibuka over Aaron Jones, or do you think that I should keep Aaron Jones in my flex? And then also, do you think it's worth keeping Naji Harris in my stash, or do you think I should go with somebody like Will Shipley because I have Saquon, or maybe grab another tight end to keep stashed just for safety? Thanks so much. Appreciate your help.
Yeah, appreciate you calling in. Appreciate you calling in there, Kalen. That's let me make sure that I have this right.
There was
So
like
Jordan,
5 questions in there.
No, but I got it written down. That's why we're totally okay with it. But Jordan Mason, I think it was the one start sit question. Jordan Mason over Emeka Egbuka. Who would you start there?
I'm going with Egbuka. I mean, he's just set up for a lot of production early on in the season. They're just so thin at wide receiver.
Yeah.
And we still, again, it's probably a split with Mason and Jones, but I'm going Egbuka right now.
And then Naji Harris, it's really a cut or stash question, because if you have, a handcuff that is out there on the waiver wire that Kalen asked about, like Will Shipley. So he obviously has Saquon Barkley in his lineups, I think is what I heard. At this point, Adam, it's a good question. Is Naji Harris someone that you just hang on to if you've drafted him based on where you've drafted him, or do you let him go? I couldn't see Naji Harris on a waiver wire anywhere. So it does make me a little bit nervous with the potential that if he does play, he's going to play sooner and more than a guy like Shipley. Shipley's only going to play if we see Saquon go down.
And look, handcuffs is always a debate. You don't need to handcuff everyone. It also depends on how many roster spots you have. And if Shipley's on the waiver wire now, he's probably going to stay there, right? If no one drafted him, he's going to stay there.
Yeah, so I would keep Naji Harris. And again, we get making sure that you have your handcuff. But like you said, Adam, if they're not taken now, the Ollie Gordons, the Brian Robinson Juniors of the world, it feels like you can wait a little bit. And
the only thing is if Barkley does happen to go down on Thursday, he's going to be very upset at us when he has to spend 40 to 50% next week on Shipley. But hey, look, these are the things that can happen, and you just have to make the best decision at the time.
Najee Harris can give you fantasy points quicker. I think that's the thing if you stash him. And yes, if Saquon Barkley goes down, Kalen, call us back and we'll apologize there. Because why do you put that on the universe? Why do you do
I'm
that?
just trying to present all alternatives. It happens.
That's
Guys
not an
get
option.
hurt.
That's
it's better than
not
me.
An option.
At least I didn't say dark things about Najee Harris's vision like you.
I didn't. No. And
yeah, you did. It
we're
was all
moving
intentional.
on.
It's all
we're
good.
moving on. Get out of here. Get out of here. You know what? You know who's going to bring light and positivity to this show? Paul Charchian, the one and only, talking guillotine leagues. We're going to go through it with him coming up next. Introducing the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. One internet price, 5 years fully guaranteed. Life is unpredictable, but the price of your internet should not be, guys. Get a reliable price for a reliable connection. And by all in, they mean all in. Wi-Fi equipment and unlimited data is included in this. Change is always happening. We know this. RB1 seemingly never repeat. 2030's fantasy wide receiver one may not even be in college yet, but no matter what changes in 5 years, the price of your internet will stay the same. We've had an absolutely loaded show here today, getting you ready for week one. And we've got Paul Charchian here with us to get us ready for week one, Guillotine League style. Paul, welcome in. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. It's the height of draft season, right?
Yeah.
Today and tomorrow are the two biggest draft days of the entire year. So, it's great to both be able to do all our drafts, which we love. For those of us that have already drafted a lot, then it's the culmination of all those drafts. And then we get real data points on Thursday, real action. We start scoring points. Can't wait. Best week of the year.
Goodness.
This is as good as it gets.
Thank goodness. And let me just say, if I win any of my guillotine leagues this year, it will be from the 18th overall pick. I picked there 5 times, Paul.
Wow.
5 times. Yeah.
Wow.
It was Adam, don't laugh. Don't laugh.
I think it's hilarious.
I know you texted tech support or whatever. You said no matter what, maybe I don't know what happened there, but I will be absolutely annoying if I win any of those at the 18th overall pick. But we're doing and getting ready for guillotine leagues. You should get ready as well. Guillotineleagues.com. Make sure you go over there and draft as quickly as you can. But Paul, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be quick though. They can draft throughout the season. So if you can't get in now, don't worry. You can still go in there. We're doing a Civil War though, Paul. This is how funny Paul is. Paul messages us and goes, Civil War, ! All caps. We turn brothers against brothers in a battle of teammates. So I'm going to let you take the reins on this one.
That is a perfect setup. This is a Civil War edition of Guillotine Leagues. The loser gets chopped. We're looking at teammates who play the same position, same team. And we will identify for the 3 of us, which one we'd rather have at his ADP. So you can't, we might like them all. We might want all of them, but you can't do it. You can only take one, got to be at his ADP. And we begin in Washington with running backs, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt going in round 5, or teammate Austin Eckler going round 7, or teammate Chris Rodriguez going in round number 9. Now, keep in mind, these are guillotine rounds, listeners. These are 18 team rounds. So when you're hearing these rounds, we're talking guillotine rounds in a regular draft with 10 or 12 people. These would be, almost double the typical round. So keep that in mind as well. Adam, let's start with you. Which of these Washington teammates would you take at his ADP?
Obviously, this was asked because we're not sure exactly what the roles are going to be for each of them. And Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt was fun when he was going in the double-digit rounds. Now you're paying a high price tag. It is too expensive for me. Chris Rodriguez could be the goal line back, but I know that Austin Eckler is the pass-catching back. And for guillotine leagues, we want that high floor, so we get points every week. And the game script could change things, but either way, I think Eckler is going to be involved in a passing game where I know he can catch 3, 4, 5 passes a week for 30, 40, 50 yards. So for me, I'm just going to take the high floor of Austin Eckler. So he's my choice here.
Do I have to pick a different? Do I have to pick a different?
No,
one?
you don't.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Because I actually
feel like
agree.
That's the right answer.
I actually agree with Adam because I do like Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, but like Adam said, the price in the 5th round, I feel like there are still other good running backs, maybe some veteran presences there that you can go and get. And I like Chris Rodriguez, but it's such an unknown that it feels like with everything you taught us, Paul, and maybe we could be wrong, but Austin Eckler being the veteran, being the guy that we know, usually what we're going to get from him feels like at least safe pick to not get us chopped in week 1.
We all agree. Austin Eckler, the right
Yes.
choice for the guillotine format. Last year, Eckler was the Commanders' passing down back. That will not change. Neither of the backs that are on roster right now are particularly good pass catchers. He was on the field for 77% of the Commanders' long down and distance plays last year. And before he got dinged up with injury in week 12, Eckler had double-digit fantasy points in 8 of the 10 games. He only had one real dud game all year. Eckler, not explosive, but those 3 and 4 catches per game gives you such a nice PPR floor that it really counts. Let me mention this about Chris Rodriguez. And this, to me, he would be my second choice out of this. I pulled up this stat yesterday on a very small sample size. He only had 35 carries last year. So I looked at every running back with at least 35 carries last year. Chris Rodriguez, number 1 in avoided tackle rate across the entire NFL. Small sample size, but a 40% avoided tackle rate. It's Chris Rodriguez would be my second choice out of that group, but we all concur. The right answer is Austin Eckler. Let's go to our next set of Civil War teammates. Tampa Bay wide receiver Mike Evans going at the end of round 2, or Emeka Egbuka at the end of round 3. And for guillotine specifically, Kendall, which teammate are you choosing?
Paul, my heart says Emeka Egbuka, but I think the right answer is Mike Evans because of everything. And I'm curious because of everything you've taught us with rookies and how much of an unknown it is that you don't want to potentially risk it. We know who Mike Evans is as a player. We know that we're not going to get Chris Godwin out there. And we know the connection that Mike Evans has with Baker Mayfield. So round 2, I know, people look at that and they'll say, oh, Mike Evans is in round 2. But again, you said it's guillotine league. So I'm going to go with the veteran, even though we love Emeka Egbuka on this show.
All right, Adam.
Kendall already knows where I'm going. I'm going with Egbuka.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm going with Egbuka because, look, you've heard nothing but positive things from everyone. The GM, the coach, Baker Mayfield. They said that he's been more than what they thought. He was a first-round pick. He comes in and he's going to make an impact immediately. I know Evans has been there and he's the veteran, and you could say he's safe, but you also have to spend a higher pick. So I'd rather go in a different direction where Evans is going, take a different receiver, and come back with Egbuka. I just think he's in a spot where he is going to smash immediately. They need him. They have a lot of injuries at receiver, and you're hearing nothing but positive things. I know Paul's going to say I'm wrong, and he's going to say it's Mike Evans.
Say it loud and proud.
You know what? I don't think there is a wrong answer here, but I will say on a recent episode of the Chop podcast, which I recommend people tune into. Chop is the Guillotine League podcast. It's in our 6th year now. It's just for Guillotine Leagues. It's super fun. We identified 3 rookies we felt you could roll into week 1 with. One of them was Emeka Egbuka, NFL ready, the Ohio State pedigree, the first-round pick, walking in with the injuries to Chris Godwin and Jalen McMillan totally changes this. If those guys were healthy, this would be a non-conversation right now. But with them not playing week 1, Egbuka is clearly going to be a starter. For Evans, I think you have to decide, is year 32 the beginning of the end? Because, last year still got to the 1,000 yards, still ultimately pretty safe, even though he did miss about a month of games. In a normal league, I would take Egbuka for sure. This wouldn't even be close. But
yes,
Evans, legendarily safe. And if I've got to pick one, I will take the league leader in end zone target rate. When you get a touchdown in a guillotine league from a player, that player he's non-dud right there. You're almost, that player's done everything you need that player to do to help make sure that you are safe. Evans is going to remain the goal line guy in this offense and the goal line end zone target. I think I'm going to go with just a 1-round differential. I think we're going to go with Mike Evans.
There you go. I was right on him. That's okay.
I knew he was going to pick
1 for
Evans.
1.
I wasn't trying to win it. I was just trying.
You know me well.
Whatever. I'm trying to win.
Our third and final Civil War between teammates, Chicago wide receivers DJ Moore in round 4 or Rome Odunze round 6. Another tricky one among players many people like. Only a 2-round difference. We go back to Adam to start this one. Who are you taking for a guillotine league?
Yeah, DJ Moore has been one of the more difficult players to try and figure out this year for me because he's always put up numbers no matter what. Even last year, it was a down year for him. It really wasn't clicking with Caleb Williams. He still had 98 catches. Now it only went for 966 yards and 6 touchdowns. There's been talk about experimenting with using more out of the backfield, but you're also hearing that there's a real connection with Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, who in his second year we expect to improve. It wasn't a surprise last year that he didn't have a great rookie year. The offense wasn't good. The coaching wasn't good. So the price differential here, too, I think plays a factor because I do think they're close. So I'm going to go with the cheaper option here in Rome Odunze.
Kendall?
I'm doing the same thing. Not so that I can guarantee a win in this show today, but but realistically, I do. Oh man, I've taken DJ Moore, obviously different formats when we're talking just regular fantasy Paul and guillotine leagues, but I do like the 2-round, price difference here, a little bit cheaper option, because I do think that at the end of the day that this team is, hopefully Caleb Williams steps up and takes a step forward for 2025, but that we know that they're going to kind of throw this ball everywhere and anywhere, get Colston Loveland involved, get Rome Odunze involved, DJ Moore. So I'm going to go with the cheaper option in Rome, but I'm curious if that's right to you.
Well, guillotine is so much about safety. Rome Odunze last year was wide receiver 64 in PPR points. He's got to make a gigantic jump to get anywhere near the proven performance that we can get out of DJ Moore. His last 2 seasons, wide receiver 23 and wide receiver 9. That is repeatable, proven performance, even though we've got a new offense that's going to be installed there. I feel like Odunze's upside is to be almost as good as DJ Moore. Like if everything breaks right, he could be maybe almost as good as DJ Moore. But if things don't go that well for Odunze, he could be as bad as he was last year, wide receiver 64. And that's how you get chopped in a guillotine league. This is a very, very guillotine specific question. In a non-guillotine league, we want to take the zesty upside that Rome has got in the 6th round. In guillotine leagues, we want safety, and so I want a proven performer like DJ Moore in round 4.
Oh, we were wrong. Dang it! I know. Buzz us off there. But Paul, we appreciate you joining us. I had one more question for you, because you mentioned that on the Chop podcast, which everyone should go and listen to anywhere they get their podcasts. You don't have to give us all the names. I wanted one more. You said Emeka Egbuka is one rookie that you are comfortable starting in week 1. I was curious if Tedero McMillan was your second rookie. You said there were 3. Again, people have to go somewhere and listen to your podcast for the 3rd, but I was curious if Ted was one of the 3.
Ted is, and particularly now with the Adam Thielen trade. And we already had him as somebody we felt comfortable going to, but with the Thielen trade now and Coker out, there's nowhere else for balls to go. And the really nice early season schedule that the Panthers have. I've drafted Bryce Young in a bunch of my guillotine leagues. So I've sloughed quarterbacks in most of them, which, by the way, I highly recommend doing. The teams that I walk away from my guillotine league drafts loving are the ones that I slough quarterback in. And Bryce Young as my opening quarterback with the easy schedule. Yeah, September schedule. I like it. And Ted McMillan's going to be a big part of that.
Oh, I like it. GuillotineLeagues.com. That's definitely a draft I'm going to keep doing all the way up until kickoff on Thursday, Paul, because it's just so easy to join. Download the app. You guys can get in there. And again, hopefully you don't get pick 18. And hopefully I get
pick 18's great. No,
Paul, it's not.
You want pick 18.
No,
you go
I
Brock
don't.
Bowers into Chase Brown, and you've just put the rest of the league into a hammerlock right there at 18.
She likes to complain, Paul. She's always complaining about these late picks, and then her draft turns out to be great.
And then if I get chopped, then you're going to hear about it. Exactly.
You want the spot you don't want? Pick out a 2. 2 is a tricky spot. You don't get Jamar Chase. You've got like 8 other players you could take it to, and you'll probably get it wrong. You'll pick the wrong guy, and then you got to wait 34 more picks before you get to go again. That's the spot you don't want to be at.
I love it. I love it. Paul, we get to talk to you next week and go through more Guillotine League questions, but everyone go to guillotineleagues.com. Follow Paul Charchian at Paul Charchian on X, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great week.
Waiver wire talk next week.
Yes,
we'll be talking about
so
the big
excited.
name players that get chopped. I can't wait. Talk to you
so
then.
Excited. There he goes. Speaking of, we're going to go through early week 1 rankings. We've got questions on Drake May. Should we immediately start Tony Pollard for the foreseeable future? We're going through those questions and your questions coming up next. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us here today. We see your questions over there on X. We are trying to get to them at Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis. Going through some early rankings talk here, Adam. We're going through rankings for week 1. They are updated at fantasylife.com, so you guys can go and check them out. A couple questions here that I definitely want to get to, though. Any reason, this is from Craig, any reason to hang on to Guerrero if you have McCaffrey? Unfortunately, if you are an early Isaac Guerrero drafter before the Brian Robinson news, it wasn't great, Adam. Is he worth hanging on to? I mean, stranger things have happened. We've seen it last season where we, cycled through 3, 4, 5 running backs at the time. But he does feel cuttable if there are other good pieces on the waiver wire.
Yeah, for sure. You can cut him. They've already stated that Shanahan said that Brian Robinson is the backup. So, yeah, I don't even think he was drafted in our league last night, and that's 20 rounds. So I'm sure,
really?
yeah,
Wow.
I'm pretty sure he's in a league with 16 roster spots, maybe 18. And yeah, that's the one unfortunate part if you drafted early, or I'm sure there's people that have Guerrero in best ball. I probably do. I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, that we thought he was the guy, and unfortunately they made a trade, and that changes things. So
that's what happens when you draft early, but that's okay.
But you
Sorry,
also
Isaac
get
Guerrero.
Krosky Merritt in round 17.
You do. Emeka Buka, Matthew Golden, before they were cool.
I think there's more positives than negatives because you don't get
I agree.
You don't get a lot of season-ending injuries July, August. So
no, knock on wood. You hopefully don't. But that would stink. Another one here from Donna. Should I drop Ramondre, for Marks or Rodriguez? I drafted Chubb too. I think
I wouldn't do that. I mean, look,
I like Ramondre out of all of them. Rodriguez would be the next guy, but I'm comfortable with Ramondre on the bench. Like, he's still going to be, we know how good TreVeyon Henderson is going to be, but I think people are forgetting that I believe that Ramondre Stevenson is still going to be involved in this offense. Is it to the same extent? No, but TreVeyon Henderson doesn't need much work to really pay off for fantasy football. That's the thing that you're going to notice with him, is that he is this explosive guy that they have just really needed on this team. But Ramondre Stevenson, at least for the better part of the first half, it feels like he's going to be involved.
Yeah, I agree. I think Alvin Kamara light for TreVeyon Henderson.
Nice.
Because you kind of saw that a lot early in his career. So where he didn't need a lot of carries. He was just heavily involved in the passing game, and I think that's what's going to happen. Kamara's rookie year, he only had 120 carries. He had 81 receptions. Now, I don't know if it's going to be like that for Henderson. I hope for the leagues that I do have him, but I think that's the way they're going to play it, where you see him heavily involved in the pass game. And I agree with what Dwayne said. I've been saying it. They need playmakers. Yeah. They need speed. That's what Henderson brings to this offense. So they need him on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, at Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. If you've got questions, can't get through, can't call right now on the phone lines, we're going to go over there and try and answer as many as we can with your messages. Drake May, if we're talking early week 1 rankings, I have him QB 11 on the week. And I think the question is, does he deserve immediate QB 1 treatment? Depending on how you drafted, sometimes Drake May in some of these leagues is my first quarterback, Adam. So I somewhat have no choice. But Drake May going up against the Raiders, who have the 25th ranked scoring defense, to me, I'm going with yes. Again, it's going to be tough for some people if they took him as their second quarterback. But if you have him as a first, obviously you're going to go with it. But I do have him QB 11. I think I'm the highest among our rankers at Fantasy Life, but not by much. Like the other guys have him at 12 and 13.
Yeah, I think he's a QB1 this week. I did take him as my QB1 last night, and that was the goal, because I feel like I don't really have as much Drake May in redraft. And I like him a lot. So I said, I have to get him on this team. So once I missed out on the elite, I said, okay, I'm going to wait. And Drake May was the target. And I was like, I was worried about you And I think you took
Yeah,
Fields. I
we
was like,
took
thank goodness.
Fields.
Because I have so much Fields that I can't take any
And
more
see,
Fields.
I'm the opposite. I didn't have as much Fields as I thought I did. I have a good amount, but I have a ton of Drake May.
Okay,
And
so
so for
good.
us, it was actually between Fields and Williams. Both were still on the board at the time. We could have stacked Williams with Colston Loveland, but we ended up going Fields.
Yeah, so I have May more in best ball, and I was like, I want to get him because I think he has a really good chance to finish as a QB1. So I got him in round 13. Again, know the format you're in. Quarterbacks, people wait on quarterbacks in this format a lot. Like you see Fields round 12, May, Kyler Murray, and Purdy in round 13, Trevor Lawrence in 14, Caleb Williams in 15. So know the format. I know they wait, but yeah, I have high expectations for Drake May. And there's some quarterbacks that have some really difficult matchups this week. So you can easily see Drake May finishing as a QB1. And we know he adds that rushing element as well.
Fields not a great immediate week 1 revenge game. Not the best going against the Steelers.
Yeah, Steelers defense is good.
TJ Watt and co.
They revamped the secondary. The secondary is good.
They held
Ramsey there.
They held opposing quarterbacks to the 6th fewest fantasy points per game last season. So
like any time with Fields, he's got to get it done with his legs, right? Like we know it's not going to be a good passing week. You hope that he can rush for 70, 80 yards and a touchdown.
Set him and look away. Don't watch.
Don't
that's
watch.
probably going to be the whole thing we say about Fields this season is like by halftime you're going to look and you're going to say what the heck was I thinking, and then hopefully he brings it home for you. I've got more questions, more week 1 rankings talk that I want to get through, especially going to the running backs, what we do with what our expectations are with Irving and Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard. We're going to go through them coming up next. This is Fantasy Life right here on this Tuesday with you, getting you ready for week 1 at Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis over there on X. By the way, Adam, I found the food that we have to go try this season. Acting like we tried it last season with the cotton candy burger. We're going back to the Arizona Cardinals, though. They know what they're doing. They know how to get people in the door. You want to hear it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
A Nutella and berry pizza.
What?
A Nutella and seasonal berry pizza.
Oh boy.
So it looks like a pizza crust, but it might be cinnamon, like a cinnamon toast type thing. It's huge, by the way, like the size of an actual pizza. Nutella, marshmallow, strawberry, whipped cream, sprinkles. Yum.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm
Should we
ready.
buy tickets? All right.
Let's do it.
Let's go. If anyone has hookups at the Cardinals, please give us a call. You would rather eat that though than the cotton candy burrito. I can tell you that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's better. Back to it though. Rankings. I just wanted to get that out there because I did see that. They also have a creme brulee donut tower. If that interests you. That actually sounds pretty good too. 3 donuts stacked on top of each other. I think I saw bacon in there, and whipped cream and sprinkles.
Bacon and donuts? That doesn't seem to go together.
There's bacon in the middle of it, it looks like. Anyway, rankings. Back to what everyone's here to listen to instead of the food. I'm RJ Harvey, J.K. Dobbins. I have them back to back in my rankings for week 1 right now with the slightest lean towards RJ Harvey. Both seem startable though, right? I mean, when we're talking running back rankings, I've got him RB27 for Harvey, RB27 for Harvey, RB28 for J.K. Dobbins. And that feels like it's right in line with our consensus as well. Both startable to you?
Yeah, especially if you project Denver to win this game comfortably, there might be enough to go around for both. But one of those situations where we're really not sure exactly how it's going to play out. We're excited for Harvey. Sean Payton drafted him. But we also know that they're a little bit worried about the pass protection, and that's why Dobbins is in there. So, I think in a lot of cases, you're probably starting both. There are people, in my situation, there's Dobbins might be someone I'm more likely to start just because I went wide receiver heavy. I think a lot of people, though, in typical formats with Dobbins probably have him as a bench running back, right?
Probably, or their third. Yeah, because of
so you
where
might
he was
not
going.
need to start him. But yeah, there's a backfield. They're one of the backfields that you're keeping an eye on to see what the touch distribution is this weekend.
Yeah, we'll have a better idea of the split this time next week. We'll have a better answer on a lot of things. The Jaguars, it feels
That's
like,
a
and that
big
could
one.
always change, but that feels like one of the biggest questions we have, along with, Travis Hunter, which could also change week in and week out. But the Jaguars, I'm really curious to. I think I took one of them in one of my drafts last. Oh, you know who I took? I took ETN because I didn't have much of him, so I took him in my college league just in case.
I took him last night in our league, I think in like 9-3 as my third running back. So I have mostly ETN and Tootin. So as long as Tank Bixby's not the guy, I'm good.
I've got a lot of Tank Bigsby and Tootin.
Well, I hope he fails for you. Sorry.
I hope he
Being
fails
selfish.
I hope ETN is the one that doesn't do it, but only for you. Everyone else, I hope he succeeds because we want championships. But just a sprinkle of all of them, right? That's kind of what we did. If you were drafting a lot, then it was a lot easier to be able to do that. But that's going to be a huge question to answer, and it's almost time, Adam. We're almost there with your Cowboys on Thursday night.
Yeah, you're supposed to be excited for the first game, but not if you're a Cowboys game. You're like, here we go.
You're still excited. Get out of here. It's going to be fine. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Make sure you stick around. RotoWire Fantasy Sports Today with Jeff Erickson and Nick Whalen's coming up next. Go to fantasylife.com. Use that code SXM20. Gets you 20% off any Tier 1 or Tier 2 Fantasy Life subscription. We'll see you same time here tomorrow.